I have never seen the critics so wrong in my life. I was worried for a second there. I was worried. I went into this movie. I was completely worried. But the critics were absolutely wrong. Y'all were wrong. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. I am Robert Storms. As always, if you are finding me for the very first time, please do me a huge favor. Smash that like button, subscribe. That way you guys can stay up to date on all future content here on the channel. So, Eternals just got released, so all of us common folk were able to finally check out the latest movie in the MCU. But the one thing that worried me was that Rotten Tomatoes score. Now, you could sit there and say, you know what, I don't follow Rotten Tomatoes, and that's fine. You don't have to follow Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe you shouldn't follow Rotten Tomatoes. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I like to go on Rotten Tomatoes just to kind of test the waters on what things were going to be. And for the longest time, I was following Eternals ever since the embargo lifted, and it started at like an 85%, and then the next day it went down to like a 75%, and then a 65%, and now it is sitting at a 49%. And that really shocked me. Like, this is like the worst rated MCU movie of all time, and it actually had me worried that this movie wasn't going to do well at all. And I really went in this movie with very low expectations, even though it was a movie that I was really looking forward to. I loved all the trailers for this movie, and I was just like, I was ready for it. Like, I wanted to see this movie, and I avoided all reviews. I just looked at the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I just seen them going down, but I avoided all reviews. And I went and saw the movie, and I loved it. I did. I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I was just fascinated by all the characters and the lore that they built up. And then I just keep checking the Rotten Tomatoes score, and it keeps going down. But the interesting thing is that the audience score is at 86. And this really kind of shows the difference, and maybe, I don't know, maybe how out of touch critics really are. And maybe, and I always tell everybody this, like, if you are excited for a movie, do not go for what critics say all the time. And that's the thing, right? I never let a critic make up my mind on whether I'm going to go see something or not going to see something. And that's why I always wait until after I see a movie to watch reviews, because I like to see what people are thinking after I see the movie, right? I like to form my own opinion, and like the first thing I did after I got done watching Eternals and I came home and did my own review, I filmed my review, did my live stream, and then after I filmed my review, I was like, okay, let's see what other people are thinking now. And the first thing I did was I started clicking on the reviewers that I normally watch. People like Jeremy Jahns, John Campea, you know, those type of people that I normally watch. And I watched what they had to say. I agree and disagree with some of the things that they said, but you have to form your own opinion. And the fact that there's this giant disconnect between audience and the critics, in my opinion, were absolutely wrong in this case. I know everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I just think it's a huge disconnect when you see a movie that is certified by critics for 49% rotten, and then the audience goes 86. It just goes to show you, in my opinion, why you don't go with what critics say. You don't go with just Rotten Tomatoes. You don't listen to critics. You should always go see a movie and then watch the reviews after the fact. Never sit there and watch reviews before the movie, because that's going to do two things. One, it's either going to disappoint you if they don't like the movie, or two, they might overhype something for you and you're going to go in overhyped. So I would say just never watch reviews until you go actually see the movie for yourself. That's just my opinion. I think a lot of people put way too much stock on Rotten Tomatoes and way too much stock on critics in general. I like to watch reviews after the fact because I want to kind of have a discussion, and maybe someone will have a different opinion that will make me see something a certain way. But I always do that after I see the movie, never before I see the movie. And again, I think the critics have kind of dropped the ball on this one. I think Eternals is a great movie. Like, I love this movie to death. The more I think about it, the more I love the movie. I think it has so many different layers, and it might not be the most successful in the MCU in terms of ratings and possibly financially. We got to see what the financial is going to be, how well it's going to do its first weekend and all that great stuff, how successful it's going to be financially. But just looking at terms of storytelling and the world building and what they were able to set up in this movie, I just thought it was a fantastic ride. Like, I was fascinated and just jumped right into everything that they were doing in this movie, and I just loved every second of it, guys. So that's what my thoughts are on it. I think the critics failed on this point. I think they completely just lost connection with what they were trying to do in this movie. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you seen Eternals? Do you agree with the critics' score, or are you the ones that's like, hey, no, the critics got it right, it's a horrible movie? Because I find that this movie is being very, very split with the fan base. You either love it or you hate it, but no one's in the middle. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Do you think the critics were right, or do you think they were dead wrong? Leave those comments in the comment box below. Until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion. Later, guys.